Why is it when you talk to spiritual people, they always want to ask you when you start your spiritual journey as if they G-check you or some shit? Well, let me run my set real quick. Morning. How are you guys? Still working on that phone mount, but I wanted to do this video in two parts. I wanted to do the age like 1 through 18 and then 18 and on, basically kind of to cover my spiritual journey, because I want to give like the most in-depth and like realist answers that I possibly can give. And I'm trying to think of like everything from my past that kind of brought me here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So baby G baby G was born in Baltimore, Maryland. I was a very quiet child when I was born. Initially, I was told when I was younger, and I'm thinking before the age of 1, I remember being like kind of a wayward kind of kid. Like, I wasn't in the mix. I was oftentimes pushed out of the mix, even if I wanted to be in the mix, or I would just kind of sit on the outside and watch, not really participating and stuff like that. I would just watch people, personalities, and things of that nature. I had friends and stuff coming up. I definitely had my mom, my dad. I had siblings. My father had kids with a different woman, so I had siblings over in those homes, and then I did have my siblings in my home as well. So growing up, I was kind of like a old soul. I always hung around old people. I always had old people like mentors or mothers and things like that. I was always drawn to the just older folks. People tended to tell me I had like an old soul. Moving forward through life, I did have some life experiences that pushed me into energetic realms that I should not have been in an early age, i.e. I was definitely molested for a few years of my life. I bring that up to say, when you're introduced to energies, and I say energies of the tantric realm and energies of the sexual realm far before you should, that lifts a veil. It lifts a veil in a young child's mind. It lifts a veil in their spiritual journey, and it lifts a veil in their growth. It makes them look at life differently and question life differently. So though I was young, I feel like those acts catapulted me into adult energies very, very quickly. Not to say that I was fast or hot or anything, but I know for a fact that I could walk in a room as a child and read energies, the energies of men, the energies of some women, the energies of adults, if that makes any kind of sense. So moving on through life, I definitely suffered from a good bit of depression. I suffered from multiple personality disorder. I had like OCD and stuff like that. I struggled with my beliefs in God at a very, very young age. I didn't understand God. I didn't understand the concepts. My mom tried to put us in like church and stuff like that, and she went to churches and stuff, but you know, my mom believed in God, but she couldn't settle with a church structure, a church home. They were always, you know, very money hungry sometimes, or very judgmental, and she, you know, we just bounced place to place to place to place. So yes, though I was aware of God, some of the things I was going through emotionally, mentally, and spiritually at a young age still caused me to question God. I remember specifically not believing in God whatsoever at a point in time in my youth. And then I remember around the age of like 11 years old, maybe 7 to 11, somewhere in there, grappling my understanding of God and what God means to me. When I was younger too, I used to have very, very vivid dreams. I used to see things. I used to see myself in a futuristic sense. A lot of my premonitions that have come into fruition now, I realize I saw quite a few of those in my youth. And things would get weird for me always in the nighttime. I will always in the nighttime be seeing things, shifts. I mean, some of the most vivid imagery basically started kind of like when I was younger. So I always kind of kept that in the back of my mind, but I just thought I was a weirdo. I really didn't like pay it any mind. I just thought like I was a fucking weirdo. Growing up through elementary school as well, I would like kind of stick to myself. I was big on playing The Sims and stuff like that. I did have like a couple of like, you know, friends that was going through various life struggles, traumas, and things like that. yeah, and I'm saying all of this to say that how it contributed to my person. Yeah, so and I'm thinking it back spiritually when I was younger. I dabbled into a lot of ghost books. I was always into, they used to sell these massive magic kits. I would always buy the magic kits. I would always be into tarot decks. I remember going to Six Flags and there would be these buckets of, at the time, my mom, what do you want, these colorful rocks with these buckets of stones, and you could fill up a bag for $5, as many stones as you wanted. I was always drawn to those stones, but it never really mattered or made any sense to me. I just know that I like these things. I like, witchcraft, the craft, scary movies and things like that. I just knew I was into the more darker side of things. I had my wayward moments in high school as well. And a lot of times I realized through life I was going on a constant battle with myself. From a very young age, I've been battling with myself. And I mean, just trying to figure out like who I am and what the fuck is going on. Something about me on the inside never felt right. And it started at a very young age, so to speak. So anyway, push on. In high school, like I said, I was definitely depressed. I was developing certain personality traits. I was still going to church and stuff like that. But I just believe because it was the right thing to do. Like, you just believe in Christianity or whatever, and you just keep going with it. But deep down inside, I always knew something was off. Something was just wrong. Like, something wasn't right on the inside. And I feel like that knowledge of what wasn't right started building at a very young age, because I was always on the outside watching people, watching energies, seeing how different people interacted with me. I tend to have like a very mute, flat, neutral way about myself when I was younger, and that caused I guess me to be drawn to certain people and certain people to be drawn to me. And yeah, a lot of my youth was the veils of life being lifted, being in situations you shouldn't have been in as a child, or hanging around people who shouldn't have had you exposed to certain things as a kid. And that is what exposed me to energy work. That's kind of what exposed me to the energies of the sexual realm. That's what showed me about the energies of self. And all of these things that I went through basically manifested into this massive monster. And a massive monster. I'm gonna be very honest, a massive monster. By the time I got to high school, I was so depressed. I was trying to find myself. I had gained a massive amount of weight. So by gaining weight like that, you have to have a shield. You have to be big. You got to be bold. You got to be, no matter how you feel on the outside, you got to be the shit, because you can't let people tear you down. So I'm already putting on a mask number one. And I'm in school and I got friends, but what a lot of people didn't know in high school is I used to lie about having friends. I had 0 friends. Like, I had no friends. I used to lie to people in school about, oh no, I'm going over such and such house, or no, I'm talking to this guy, knowing good and damn well I had no friends, no boyfriends. I had nothing. But I was a sociopathic liar. I was big on the internet. I was big on catfishing people. I didn't have at the time, I didn't see the value of myself. I didn't see the beauty in myself. I didn't think, I just didn't, not even in a way in which I was like, oh, I'm ugly, oh, I'm fat. Like, no, I just naturally didn't think that anyone would want to talk to me. So I'll make all these fake profiles, and well, I don't have any friends now, so I might as well lie about having them. And I realized that at that age, because I was young, again, growing before the age of 18, I was participating in a lot of low vibrational activities. And I'm bringing all of this up to get to my video too. But I was participating in a lot of low vibrational activities just to make myself seem cool, just to make myself seem like I had friends, or just to make myself seem normal. And deep down inside, I was not normal. Like, I was an overweight, depressed, misunderstood child. And it was building. So of course, in high school, eventually after my second, third, fourth year, people are looking to me and they're more so just like, oh, that's G, that's just big G. Like, she cool, she all over the place. Like, she funny, she blah, blah, blah. But, that's definitely a version of myself that I created to get through high school due to the depression that I was going through and the battle with myself that I was dealing with on the inside. So, yeah, people like, you know, I've started YouTube right when I got to college and stuff, and it was a release and stuff, and I had a lot to say, especially as far as my weight was concerned. I put a lot of my energy into my hair, a lot of other distractions. But anyway, so in high school, in elementary school, basically I'm just saying these were all points in times in my life where I unfortunately was exposed to adult energies, sexual energies. I was just exposed to just atmospheres that I should not have been in, which basically gave me, my veil was lifted far too soon, and it gave me insight on, like I said, adult energies. Because of my depression and stuff like that, that pushed me into, again, like I was saying before, and that's why they say a lot of people in psych wards, a lot of them people don't be crazy. A lot of people just, and even what I was going through back in the day, like, sometimes those not so good childhood environments manifest into other things, and I had to realize that. Like, I had to realize what was going on. I mean, when I was sitting in high school, and this is all learning and realization, that's why it's such a journey, was I was in high school in my health class, and the teacher goes like, yeah, you know, you could be chilling with a family member, and, you know, they could touch you a certain way, and a lot of people don't even know that it is molesting, blah, blah, blah. And I'm fucking 14 years old having a what the fuck moment, because I'm really now fully understanding what had happened to me when I was younger was molestation. It wasn't a game. It wasn't something that my cousin was just trying to get me to play. And so basically throughout life, as I was getting older, and just to the age of 18, I was slowly learning about my younger self and things that I shouldn't have been doing, and things that I was doing, and things that I was overexposed to. And I was flabbergasted. I got heartbroken at 14. And because when it happened to me when I was younger, the way it happened, it wasn't like a beating. It wasn't like a I'm gonna hurt you, I'm gonna choke you. No, the way he did it was so much in my mind. It was almost, like I said, it was a game. I didn't really even understand the severity of what had happened until I got to the age of 14. And that then caused my mind to spiral. So in high school, I was battling a lot with myself. I didn't know what kids liked, what kids didn't like. I found myself almost like doing little shit or saying little shit to people, thinking that being sexual, or thinking that being like adult, or thinking being one way is the right way of life. And it's fucking not. It's not. And I've had to go back in some senses and say to people, like, now mind you, I've never done anything with these people in high school. No. But I would talk a mean game just to be friends, or just to think that it was the right thing to say, or just to, I don't know, just for attention. And it's just whew, Jesus Christ, we're getting it out. Basically, in a nutshell, all of that, on top of my lack of understanding about life and God and spirituality. And that's why I say, if you have children, give them a sense of self, give them a sense of spirituality, give them something. Don't let other motherfuckers give it to them. And I'm not saying any of this to take away from those that definitely like raised me at the time, like my mom and stuff like that. But shit happens no matter how much you try to safeguard or sugarcoat or protect your child. You got to be at 100% like around to really make sure that you are hitting all those angles. But anyway, I said all that to say, so all of those different things that happened in my past had basically manifested into a monster. And it wasn't a monster that I really knew was a monster until I got to college. At the time, I was under the impression that I was just like emotional, and that I was depressed, and that I'd figure it out, and that everything would work itself out. And I realized every time I would go into new spaces, I would dress dominantly, because I was trying to control the energy. I was trying to protect myself. I was trying to make myself appear more aggressive. So, so people wouldn't mess with me. And I did that going to college. I did that going to high school. And you don't realize those little behaviors that you do all have a big effect. And again, this story is more so my part one. This is just more so me and my youth getting up to now. Now, I had a great childhood. I definitely had lots of fun. I went out, I learned a lot of different things, from horseback riding to traveling, oceans. I mean, well educated. But that's, of course, as we know, that's all the surface. That's not the shadow. So that's why I am so knowledgeable. Yes, that's why I do have a good education. Yes, because all those things can still be obtained, and people can, again, wear a wonderful mask while they are growing, developing, and going through life. So yes, I was a very smart child, very gifted child. I had artwork all around the city of Baltimore. I was leader of several clubs and organizations. And, you know, that was all while I was outside of my home. You know, that was all while I was out. Once I went home, you know, I was stressed, depressed, cutting myself, and some more shit. But I say all of that to say, this is part one. And that kind of touches on some of the sexual, psychological, and emotional things that pushed me deeply into my spiritual journey of part two. So these little tokens and tidbits and little tiddlywinks all add to the greater picture. So a lot of people that I've found who go through these spiritual points oftentimes have a lot of other things that have happened in their past, and a lot of other things that was revealed to them that got them to that place. And I think it's funny when they say, oh, if you were sexually assaulted as a child, you're more likely a witch now. Or, oh, if you were, you know, gay, or if you were hurt by, you know, your family in the past, you're most likely a witch now. And it all has a really weird and creepy correlation, only because I think a lot of people during a generation, things had happened to them and there was no, you know, nobody went back to fix it. Like, nobody went back to get the people that harmed us. A lot of these people still eating at family dinners. A lot of these people are still around us, you know. And this day and age, people are trying to reclaim their power, get their power back. Kneecap. And yes, before I get you checked on that, yes, I was psychiatrically evaluated, and I lied during the entire psychiatric evaluation because my mother was in the room, and I was scared to admit how I truly felt and was feeling at the time. But in elementary school, I was suicidal, and it's not that I really wanted to die, so to speak. I just knew that there was an existence outside of this realm that I felt like I would be more suitable for. Yes, if that makes sense. I tore my knee up back there. Concrete is unfucking forgivable. But I basically was saying all that to, in a nutshell, say that it all has a very odd correlation. The unchaining of Christianity also correlates to the unchaining of the Black narrative of as a parent, do as I say, not as I do, or, you know, I'm a parent, what I say goes, or, okay, such and such did this to you, but they still eating Thanksgiving dinner with you. Like, a lot of that has the same correlation. A lot of that devoutness that sometimes I feel like certain religions call you to have through no matter what you go through is the same type of devoutness I think some Black families and some individuals feel like you should have no matter what you go through. So the unchaining of that core rooted Christianity, which is these days white based, which these days keep you in a cycle, is the same unchaining that you have to unfortunately do with some of the family members that you have, because they are stuck in a mental and systematic routine. And sometimes they're okay with having swept half their life under the rug, but you're not okay with sweeping your life under the rug. I'm hoping that all of this has made sense. I'm hoping all of this gives you a look just into my life, and maybe perhaps the lives of some other individuals who you've noticed have had some extreme circumstances and who's had to find themselves in their truth and their spirituality. But some of these life events is what got me to where I am today. So, and these are all before the ages of, like I said, 18 years old. There is no other major spiritual anomalies that I could potentially think of in my life, I do know, like I said, the things that I mentioned previously, I was drawn to. Some of the books that I was reading definitely helped me out a lot. Me being interested in magic and crystals back in the day, I think that all was the precursor to something bigger. Even all the things that I went through as a child and as an adult, I mean, going into my teenage years, it was all a precursor for something bigger. Some people can live life where they know the path. Some people got to go through things to see the path. Some people, and it's I don't think it's a have to, because if adults really were right in their mind, they wouldn't be fucking with kids and XYZ. Y'all get what I'm saying. But unfortunately, some people have to go through certain things, and some people do go through certain things to get where they need to be, in a nutshell. I am, of course, forgiving, individuals for certain things, family members, non-family members. I've forgiven a lot of people, but in that forgiveness, there comes also a level of self-responsibility and how I have to handle myself, conduct myself, and heal myself in all of it. But basically, in a nutshell, that was me. Weirdo, 1-year-old, cutesy, fun, out of the way, but in the way. Severely depressed, but happy, reading, seeing different things, having my ups and downs of life, all the way till I get my ass to college. Now this is when the real, all that first video makes sense. And it's, yeah. So I'll probably start that in a little bit, but thanks for watching, guys.